Did she shoot her husband in self-defense? Let's dive into it. In 2020, in a quiet Florida suburb, married couple Ashley and Doug Benefield were packing their U-Haul for a long-planned move to Maryland. Minutes later, their lives and their future were irreversibly changed. Doug Benefield, age 58, lay dying in the hospital, shot twice by his estranged wife, Ashley, who would later become known in the media as the Black Swan Woman, once a professional ballerina turned defendant in a murder trial. Ashley's journey began as a promising ballet dancer. She founded the American National Ballet with Doug in 2017, after meeting him at an event in 2016 when she was 24 and he was 54. Their whirlwind romance, married within 2 weeks, quickly deteriorated after pregnancy and business failure. By 2018, Ashley alleged Doug physically and emotionally abused her, even accusing him of poisoning his first wife. Those claims were investigated and no charges followed. By September 2020, Ashley, pregnant mother of a toddler, had moved in with her mother in Bradenton, Florida. A bitter custody battle and allegations of abuse had pushed her toward planning an end to the marriage. On September 27, 2020, as they packed for a move, Doug visited to help load the truck. Ashley's mother, Alicia, took their granddaughter to a nearby park. Inside the house, according to Ashley, an argument erupted. She testified that Doug slapped her, blocked her exit, cornered her, and lunged in an aggressive stance as she pointed a gun at him. She fired 4 rounds, once into Doug's leg, once into his arm. The second shot traveled into his chest, and he died an hour later at the hospital. At the scene, Ashley grabbed her gun and went to a neighbor's house, visibly distraught, and claimed she had shot Doug in self-defense. The neighbor called 911. Investigators found no weapon on Doug, only minor scratches on Ashley. Crucially, forensic evidence showed Doug was shot from the side, not facing her, and he did not appear to be in a position to attack, undermining claims of imminent threat. Ashley was initially charged with second-degree murder with a firearm, but the jury convicted her of manslaughter with a gun, a lesser offense. In July 2024, after 6 hours of deliberation, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison and 10 years of probation. Her defense painted Doug as manipulative and abusive, pointing to multiple rejected restraining orders and Ashley's reported fear for her safety. They described her actions as a rational act born from years of alleged abuse, and invoked Florida's Stand Your Ground law. Prosecutors countered that Ashley's abuse claims were fabricated to gain custody of their daughter, and that she killed him to cut him out of their lives. They questioned why she did not suffer serious injuries if she had been attacked, and claimed facial expressions and reenactments in court undermined her credibility, even suggesting she faked crying. Bleak courtroom moments turned personal when Doug's daughter, Eva Benefield, delivered a victim impact statement. She wept as she addressed Ashley. "I hope prison serves her well. I waited so long to speak to her face-to-face." Eva has since found solace in dark humor online, and protective custody for her and her younger half-sister has become a lasting outcome. Ashley's mother Alicia gained custody of the child. Ashley remained free on bond during the trial, living with them under supervision. Self-defense. Ashley's lawyers argued she was trapped, isolated in her mother's home, pregnant, psychologically abused, and left with no safe escape. Her preparations, burner phone, safe location, rental car under another name, were evidence of a woman planning an escape from a dangerous situation. Premeditation. Prosecutors say she assembled a plan to kill and gain custody. Doug's death benefited her legally, and his side argued that she was manipulative, not terrified. The trajectory of the bullets, shooting when he wasn't facing her, and the lack of physical injury to her seemed inconsistent with panic or fear. Her case echoes stories of domestic violence survivors turned defendants. In some jurisdictions, battered woman syndrome has allowed women to claim self-defense even without immediate threat. But Florida law is less flexible. Convictions, even in cases of abuse, remain common without corroborating physical evidence. At trial, defense accused prosecutors of staging juror misconduct investigations, citing potential juror bias or cell phone leaks, but none were upheld. Ashley remained resolute, though emotionless in court when verdict was read, prompting speculation over whether she was in shock or strategic. In December 2024, Ashley Benefield was officially sentenced to 20 years in prison, credited for time served, plus a decade of probation. The judge revoked her bond, and her appeal is expected. Was Ashley a battered woman acting out of fear, or a calculated killer who used emotional narratives to escape confession? Despite her detailed abuse allegations, no clear physical evidence of violent assault ever emerged. Her bullet wounds suggest no defensive posture from the victim. Doug's daughter and family maintain they never saw signs of ongoing abuse until the tragedy. This case remains a divisive flashpoint between those who see injustice and others who see tragedy masked as survival. Interviews with domestic abuse advocates on the limits of self-defense law and what Doug's estranged daughter shared, including recurring dreams with symbolic tunnels that could reshape how we interpret this case. When news broke that Ashley Benefield, the graceful former ballerina turned model, had fatally shot her tech entrepreneur husband, Doug Benefield, in their Florida home, the headlines all echoed one question. Was it self-defense or a meticulously planned murder? Ashley claimed Doug had become violent. She told detectives he lunged at her during an argument, prompting her to grab a handgun and fire. But her story quickly began to unravel. Prosecutors dug deep into the Benefields' turbulent marriage. Married after just 13 days of knowing each other, friends and family described their relationship as whirlwind at best and toxic at worst. Doug, nearly 2 decades her senior, was trying to start a conservative ballet company. Ashley had the beauty, poise, and talent to represent it. Behind closed doors, though, there were arguments. Ashley had filed multiple police reports alleging abuse, but investigators found little to no physical evidence supporting those claims. Doug's close friends argued that he was quiet, level-headed, and would never lay a hand on her. Court records revealed that Ashley had previously filed a restraining order, only to withdraw it weeks later. Still, her claims painted a portrait of a woman terrified for her life. But if she was scared, why had she returned? According to the 911 call and police reports, Ashley shot Doug in their Lakewood ranch home in front of their toddler daughter. By the time first responders arrived, Doug was dead, lying in a pool of blood near the kitchen. He was shot twice in the chest. Ashley was waiting calmly. No signs of a struggle. No bruises on her. Just one gun and a carefully rehearsed story. Police collected the handgun and questioned Ashley for hours. Despite inconsistencies, she was released pending further investigation. And that's when the real story began to take shape. 18 months after the shooting, Ashley Benefield was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. The delay puzzled the public, but investigators had been working meticulously behind the scenes, compiling witness interviews, digital records, GPS data, text messages, even Ashley's internet searches. Prosecutors argued that Ashley had become increasingly paranoid and controlling in the final months of her marriage. Court documents revealed Ashley had been researching topics like how to prove self-defense without witnesses and castle doctrine in Florida. This, combined with inconsistencies in her 911 call and her calm demeanor at the scene, gave prosecutors enough to proceed. One key moment: a text Ashley had sent her mother weeks before the shooting. It read, "If he dies, no one would believe it wasn't self-defense." Ashley's legal team painted a different picture. They portrayed her as a vulnerable mother trapped in a marriage with a manipulative, emotionally abusive husband. They brought in friends who testified that Doug was jealous and dismissive. Ashley, they claimed, had documented emotional abuse, even if the physical evidence was lacking. But the defense suffered a blow when it was revealed that Ashley had previously accused 2 ex-boyfriends of abuse, both of whom had been cleared of any wrongdoing. The prosecution argued this pattern demonstrated a disturbing trend: false accusations as weapons. Still, the defense pressed on, saying that Ashley had done what any mother would do: protect herself and her child. One of the most emotional moments of the trial came when a court-appointed guardian for Ashley's young daughter testified. She saw it. The guardian told the court. She doesn't have words for what she saw, but she remembers the sound. Though the girl was too young to testify, The trauma she carried became a silent but potent presence in the courtroom. The prosecution argued that no child should ever have to witness such violence, and that Ashley had made a conscious decision to stage the shooting in her presence, further complicating the claim of panic or fear. The prosecution's final blow came in the form of digital forensics. Data pulled from Ashley's phone and laptop showed that, contrary to her claims of no prior intent, she had searched for gun training videos just days before the shooting. Even more damning, security camera footage from a neighbor's Ring camera caught Ashley walking calmly to the front yard minutes after the shots were fired, placing her phone on a bench and sitting down, motionless, for nearly 4 minutes before calling 911. She waited, the prosecutor said during closing arguments. She waited to make sure he was dead. After 6 days of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Ashley Benefield was found guilty of manslaughter, a lesser charge than the original second-degree murder. The courtroom was silent as the verdict was read. Ashley sat expressionless, while Doug's sister wept quietly in the back row. The judge sentenced her to 15 years in prison, with eligibility for parole after 10. For some, it was justice. For others, not enough. She ruined lives, Doug's friend later said in a local interview. Not just Doug's. Their daughter will never know her father. All because Ashley couldn't walk away. Ashley Benefield is currently serving her sentence at the Lowell Correctional Institution in Florida. She has since appealed the conviction, claiming that critical evidence was left out of the trial. Her daughter is being raised by Doug's sister under court-ordered guardianship. In prison, Ashley has reportedly returned to dance, offering ballet classes to fellow inmates. "It's the only place I still feel like myself," she wrote in a letter to a friend. But the question remains, was she truly afraid for her life? Or was the entire performance one final act from a ballerina who knew how to command a stage? The case is yet unsolved, but we wait for the curt final judgment. Subscribe to this channel for more chilling true crime stories and things you never believe happened.